Transurfer and the Transurfing Curious. I am Renee Garcia and this is TransurfingTV, and oh my god, I feel totally awkward and I'm really nervous right now. This is day one in my new studio and I kind of don't know what to do. The washer and dryer aren't here anymore and I can't hear my dog barking. I'm all alone in this room and I'm kind of freaking out that I have escaped my little box of comfort. I realize now how it was sort of a false sense of security being in that little room for those hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. Just kind of like doing this thing and not really understanding that I was needing to evolve out of the space. The space was sort of keeping me small in some ways, but I was a little intimidated to try to take it bigger. And in doing this, it's like just another one of those frames, right? Doing what you can do in each frame as it presents itself to you that is in line with that end frame, that ultimate intention, that objective, that goal frame, right? So this was one of my doozies, like actually setting up a real studio, making the commitment to move into one, take on the added expense, and then also just bring my game up, bring my sound game up, bring my lighting game up. And just as Vadim Zeland says in the book, today I'm doing everything better than I was doing yesterday, and tomorrow will be better than today. There's either evolution or there's degradation, right? And even for me, with all the steps that I take on a daily basis, pushing towards that higher version of myself and that higher version of reality, I still give myself resistance at times, and me doing this right now is absolutely me just kind of like stepping through it, right? Moving through it and continuing my evolution, because let's all face it, I had sort of grown out of that laundry room. But thank you for joining me on TransurfingTV today. Make certain that you subscribe and like this video and comment below, and join us on the Facebook group, International Transurfing Institute Facebook group, and Reality_Transurfing, what? Instagram, what? Oh God. Teachable course down below, Reality 2.0 and Tufty 2.0. Check it out, you guys. Okay, so today, hacking the Technogenic system, one of the lessons created by Moheel, one of our top contributors at ITI, and Theodora for doing the perfecting of the translation. We are so appreciative. And today we are going to be doing chapter number 6, thousands and thousands of mirror images. Wow, that sounds kind of exciting. But I have not yet read these. I'm going to be reading them along with you guys, learning them for the first time, and then I will throw in my 2 cents as it is appropriate. And let's just get going on it. Okay, so we are still in the process of studying some of the most complex transurfing issues in depth. It appears from the letters received that the technique of the slides still is subject to ambiguous points in it. So this sounds like another slide lesson. Question. The issue here is that I have become more knowledgeable with certainty about what it is I want. I want to live for myself only, that is, own my home, take trips that make me comfortable, work to reach the possible limit of self-perfection, learn other languages, and so on. But I don't want to have my own business, even if it is my favorite job. By this, I mean that the source that I rely on to achieve my goals could be an inheritance or any other source of funding. Is it right, as I use the slides of my goal, into which I virtually live in my home and sometimes I drive my own car, or should I create a slide to show it while I'm signing the inheritance receipt documents? Okay, so this sounds like a question. Should the guy play the visualization of him signing the documents to receive the inheritance money, or living with what the inheritance money will get for him? The slide should contain a picture of the goal that was achieved, meaning that you own your home, completed your travels, etc. As for signing the documents for receiving the inheritance, it is not an aim in the first place, but a means. It is not necessary that you plan all the way that will lead you to the goal. If you do not know it for sure, how is the goal achieved? This is not your mind's business. The task of the mind is to focus attention on the slides of the goal unless there is a stubbornness that hinders the whole process. If you keep your attention always focused on the image in which you see yourself enjoying all the good things, then after a certain time, the hopeful door will open in front of you, that is, the path that leads to the goal. However, the nature of that section is still in the knowledge of the unseen, but it will only open if you stop thinking about it at the stage in question and stop your quest to know anything about it. You simply have to enjoy the slides of the goals. When the door is opened, the soul and the mind must necessarily reach a complete alignment. That this path is the appropriate path, and after the alignment is complete, everything will be fine. Okay, before I get into the points, this is a question indeed that a lot of people come to me and ask. Well, should I envision me winning the lottery, or should I envision, me spending my lottery money? And first of all, remember that reality opens up to you in miraculous ways when there is heart and mind coordination. If there's not heart and mind coordination, it's inner intention. And outer intention and inner intention are two totally different beasts, right? They're two totally different things. If you want $1 million for yourself, this is inner intention. If you want $1 million for yourself because you want to open up some sort of business or do something with your life that you feel ignited over, right? That ignites your mind and your soul, then what happens is the world opens up to you to make that achievable, right? To make your path to that goal easier. If your path to a goal is just winning the lottery, the doors aren't really going to recognize your intention because there is not heart and mind coordination. Heart and mind coordination brings the doors that you move through to get to the goal. Does this make sense? So that's why when people say, well, how can I manifest $1 million? I say, good luck, because people don't really feel heart and mind coordination over $1 million. That's something the mind wants. That's not something the soul wants. Soul typically doesn't want money. Now, if you present the question to your reality that, or the statement that my soul wants this, and you need $1 million to get it or to do it, then your world goes about assisting you in that endeavor by opening up doors on your path to your goal. So hence, this chapter can be summarized through these following points. 1, the rule of the game here is very simple, which is that the tape that plays in your head, the slide, is the same as the slide that you will see in your daily reality. Imagine this as opposed to what should be adhered to according to the instructions. And this is what will actually happen. The matter can only happen in this way precisely because visual imagination is purely subjective process, and it differs from one person to another. Okay, this is really, really valuable. There is no place here for any special instructions or guidance. The main condition here is that you yourself must perform the role now and perform it in a way that gives you absolute pleasure. Okay? Nobody can tell you how to do this because what feels good to you is in line with your soul frail. asking somebody else how to do it that would be in line with their soul frail if they are in fact achieving results. So you have to figure out a way to run this slide and live through it, play this role, perform this role now, as Vadim says, in a way that is giving you pleasure, right? In a way that is giving you pleasure. 2, to silence the engine of your thoughts. It is an absurd and useless act. On the contrary, this will require you to make great efforts, and likewise, it is a meaningless act in the context of the practice of transurfing. The issue here is not to silence your projector, but rather to place the appropriate tape in it. And if your projector stops working, your consciousness will go towards another display, not yours, but rather a strange show. It is no longer known for whom it is. Okay, so this simply means either you're running your slide of what it is that you want to be, have, or do, or you're losing yourself to something else that doesn't necessarily facilitate you obtaining your intention, your goal, right? It's either you are living your life for you, or you are living your life for something outside of you. And there's lots and lots and lots of opportunities for our realities to be created for us by external entities. And it's about taking back your ability to run your slide internally, moving you in the direction of your choosing, rather than something else moving you in the direction of its choosing. 3, as for the secondary thoughts, they will always appear, and there is no salvation for you from them. This is the structure of the human mind, but what is essential about this is that the main indicator of your thoughts always and constantly must be pointed to the goal. Oh my God, this is so important, you guys. You can be suspicious, fearful, and even depressed, but remember time and time again to the slide of your goals, whatever happens. Okay, so here's the cool thing. I still get depressed sometimes. I still get down. I still get sometimes suspicious, right? Sometimes I don't necessarily trust my world 100% just because of an old program running in the background. But playing a slide just systematically over and over and over, first of all, these other more undesirable things start to get smaller and smaller and smaller and less frequent. And also, I realize at a certain point it doesn't matter. The slide overrides all that stuff as long as you can continuously play it, right? As long as that is your chosen version of reality, right? That is your default. Your slide is your default. This is very, very crucial in getting over those speed bumps, right? Continuing down your path. As Vadim Zeland says, any obstacles that come in your way will quickly be managed as long as your heart and mind are in alignment and you are running that slide. You will just move over anything that's against your intention and continue your path to your goal. 4, do you think what you order can be easily obtained? The prosper space sector in which you live in particular luxury is located very far from the current reality. So it takes time for your reality to transfer to this reality. So you have to be patient and practice the technique of slides regularly. And if you do not give up on your dream, then your dream will come to you. Okay, so let me briefly state that this is exactly what's happened to me. I grew up poverty level, right? I've been very open about that. And from, a fairly young age, I played a slide of me having right? Me having amazing opportunities and assets and money and cool stuff. And to this day, you know, if I go to my security box at my bank where I have a lot of valuables, when I look into that box, I realize that that is the fruit of my effort of not giving up on that slide. Again, your world, your mirror does not respond to you in the time frame in which you deem appropriate. But if you continue and you don't stop, even if it takes 2, 5, 10, 20 years, you will materialize what it is that you want. And I have things in my life that are like evidence that this is true, right? That it's not going to just come like that. But if you want it, if you really want it, and you can fulfill the order, then you can absolutely have it. 5, personal relationships can be built according to the principle of frailing, as slides no longer have place here. Because this work is a specific and concrete work, solution is not only the passing of time. No idea what that means, guys. Sorry, totally lost on that one. If you have an idea of what that means, or if you would like to interpret that, comment below. I'm curious. That's number 5. 6, this is the truth. No one knows how your world was actually built, and most likely, nobody will know this on any given day, because the universe is not static and not identical, but rather is infinitely diverse in its manifestations, and representative series of images reflected in 2 mirrors facing each other. Didn't you try to approach a mirror with another one in your hand? What you see is exactly the pattern that most closely matches the pattern of our world, and it's an endless series of images reflected in the mirror. The mental sufficiency that we possess does not allow us to understand, except for some reflections, such as this or that of the manifestations of reality that cannot be counted for its aspects. The perception with which you approach the mirror of the world will be the same reflection that you will receive from it. If the principles of materialist philosophy are the basis on which your mirror rests, you will get an image of the world of the same type. But if the philosophy is ideal, whether subjective or objective, there is no difference, then the world here will not object to this and will build a logical reflection in which there is no contradiction. Okay, so this is pretty much just saying, what do you want your world to be about? Whatever you pick, you are going to get. If you want it to be based on materialism, you can have that. If you want it to be based on philosophy, you can have that, right? And it's you're going to get exactly the basis of the model. That's what you are going to start to form in your world. 7, the slide must contain an image of the goal that has been previously achieved and does not contain its attainment scenario and means. Okay, so this is so unbelievably valuable. If there was one single point in all of this, and I haven't read the rest, but this is beyond valuable. The slide must contain an image of the goal that has been previously achieved and does not contain its attainment scenario and means. Okay, so this is unbelievably valuable. If you want something right now, the reason, let's say you don't have it, right? The reason that you don't have it is because you're doing what he's specifically telling you to not do here. You're focusing on the attainment scenario, where you should be focusing on the achievement scenario, right? You've already achieved it. It's already done. And in resonating with this possible variation of reality, you having had achieved the goal, you are opening up your reality to present to you all the ways in which you can achieve the goal. Because remember, your mind, your limited thinking mind, is not able to figure out all the ways to attainment. That's why most people don't have what it is that they want. They are focused on the attainment, what they need to do to attain, rather playing the slide of the achievement, switching over into outer intention mode, and simply having reality present to you the ways, the doors that you need to move through to achieve that end goal. This is wildly, wildly, wildly effective when you get it. It is huge in the world of reality creation. That's what I'm doing right now. All this stuff that I'm doing, none of this is thought up by me, right? This is all other people's suggestions, my world sending me little guiding signs, something happening and me coming to a realization that that's the move I have to make. None of this stuff is being thought up by me. All I'm doing is running my own slide. My world is presenting me the ways that I can achieve that, right? Okay, so the tape that plays in your head is the movie that you will see in your daily reality, okay? There is no need to stop talking to yourself. The important thing is that your headline indicator always points toward the goal. Okay, so I think what he's meaning here is you don't have to talk yourself into anything. You don't have to convince yourself of anything. Just keep yourself pointed towards that goal. That's all you really need to do. 10, in cases where it is difficult to create a visual image, the intellectual form can be used, including the practice of the intent generation technique. I don't know what that means. Maybe we will ask Mohil. Okay, 11, personal relationships must be based on the principles of frailing, and slides are not necessary here. Not only are they not necessary, but they don't work. You can't run a slide against someone else or their intention and hope that you're going to get what you want from that person via the slide. The only way to influence another person is through frailing. So slides absolutely do not work with people, or at least it's not as an effective of a practice. 13, if the quality of the image is of poor quality, then you should consolidate the castle by making a permanent wall around it, meaning that you will have to display your film regularly. Okay, so that simply means if your image is not super clear, do it more and more and more until you start to fill in the detail. In fact, these issues are all simple and clear, but we are dealing with them in detail because the principle of rotating your slide in and of itself is not as clear as it might seem at first glance. Okay, so all that simply means, to wrap this up from my interpretation of it, is sometimes you have to work with your slides and sort of what I do. I have one slide that I run for a while until my world shows me something else I need to incorporate or something that I need to take away from my slide. And I work out the details within the slide as I go, rather than just running one that's like maybe not facilitating the absolute best results. I sort of switch it up a little bit until I kind of hit a sweet spot, and then I just run that until my world again presents to me ways that I can adapt, either upgrade, get rid of some stuff off of a slide, whatever. And this keeps me in a perpetual state of evolution, and things just continue to get better and better and better and better. So that's kind of how it works. All right, you guys, so what do you think of this lesson? I know it's a really long one. What do you think of this thousands and thousands of mirror images? Please, if you have any thoughts, or if I mess something up a little bit and you feel you can clarify, put it in the comments below. I will be running these every other video, and then my express lessons of the day in between. So I hope you tune into the rest of them. And thank you so much for watching my video, everyone. Bye, guys.